What's going on, you guys? It's your boy RBG, aka the Randomblackgamer, bringing you another video on Marvel's Avengers. I just want to say shout outs to everybody who watched my recent video with me being featured on camera. This is still something that I have to get used to, but for the most part, I feel like it's going to be a great rendition to add to all the different content that I have to offer you guys. You say that you want this format, so I'm going to bring it to you as much as possible, but there will still be the usual format every now and then when I don't really feel up to my best on being on camera. So just kudos to you guys, man. And also shout out to Marvel, man, and shout out just to everybody involved with this project and all the different other Marvel projects out there. Obviously this is a big day for Black Panther and a big week in general, because if you guys haven't been noticing, not only do we have the Black Panther DLC, the War for Wakanda DLC, but we also have a Black Panther related episode on the Marvel Studios What If series where T'Challa will be Star-Lord in that universe. So yeah, man, big shout outs to Marvel and big shout outs to Black Panther, and also rest in peace to the great Chadwick Boseman. Little moment of silence for my guy up there, man. But yeah, guys, as you read by the title, we're going to be talking about the War for Wakanda expansion, where I want to give my general thoughts on the things that I liked about it, and also tell you some of the things that I weren't too fond of. For the most part, I feel like this is a course correction for Marvel's Avengers and Crystal Dynamics. It's kind of been a long time coming where the studio could kind of earn the trust of the players back, because, you know, Marvel's Avengers has kind of had a rocky start when it first launched. Obviously, I think the most affected platform would have to be the PC, which a lot of journalists, for whatever reason, they don't bring it up when they mention those low player counts. But the consoles, they've been doing relatively well, more so on the PlayStation platform, which I think is going to be another issue that Crystal Dynamics has to kind of get over, because if you guys have been living under a rock, you know that Spider-Man is going to be coming to the PlayStation exclusively for the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5. But Black Panther's DLC, it has been really good, man. To my surprise, it was better than I thought it was going to be, because I had heard, I think Paul Tassi mentioned this, like he's the guy who works over at Forbes and does like different reports on Marvel's Avengers. I remember him saying that the developers told him that Black Panther's story or the cutscenes wouldn't be as long as, you know, people thought it would be. It would be kind of in the same length as Kate Bishop's and Clint's DLC story cutscenes, but it's longer than that, man. I would say that it's kind of like half the length of what we had with Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, which is a good thing, because this isn't its own game. So to have at least 5 hours of content, that's great. Like, that is great. And I'm pretty sure if you're just one of those people who just like to like explore every nook and cranny of like a DLC or story or stage, you're gonna get more out of this, more time spent playing. But for the most part, I just have to say that if this is the direction that they're going to take the series moving forward, or the game moving forward, it's a good sign, because I think people just want something that's just going to make sure, you know, it's going to like reassure them that they should keep playing for years to come, as, you know, they've suggested people will be playing for years to come. And, you know, like the gameplay is what you would expect. A lot of time went into the controls and making sure Black Panther felt distinctive from all the other characters. You know, he obviously has a lot of moves where you can tackle enemies and you can use like claw attacks and stuff. And to my surprise, you can even mount onto giant type enemies. So that's going to be something that's really going to just keep the game engaging. And it's also going to be like a template for characters who have similar skill sets, like Wolverine. You know, I think a lot of people thought about him when, you know, just in terms of T'Challa's like slashing and claw attacks and just jumping and pouncing on enemies. I think that they have a blueprint in place that they're definitely going to use for future characters who have similar styles to Black Panther. In terms of the presentation, I have to just say that it gets an A+. There was, I knew it was going to win in that area. I feel like this is the field where Crystal Dynamics works the best, because they have a lengthy relationship, a very good relationship with those types of elements, like in terms of like jungles and temples. You know, I feel like that's the perfect marriage. Wakanda, Crystal Dynamics, a team that specializes in making temples and shit from games like the Tomb Raider series. it's like the perfect match, man. Perfect. There's not much I can say. I'm getting tongue tied here just thinking about it. But that was great, man. And even the puzzles, to my surprise, were great. Everything has been like reworked from the ground up, from the item drops and the way like things are kind of like hidden throughout chests and stuff. The chest layouts are different. Everything feels different, which is what this game was kind of lacking. There wasn't that much difference. It wasn't audacious enough. I'm pretty sure a lot of people got tired of the same aim facility layouts that felt that pretty much like carbon copies of one another. There was no distinctive difference other than just the enemy types and spawns. But, well, not even the enemy types, but you know what I mean. You know, like when one area you have to kind of like hold down the fort and kind of stay within that little circle until the bar fills up. But this one, it just feels different. And of course, you know, they still do have the occasional aim bots appear, but they aren't in number like they are when you're at an aim facility. There are other enemy types that kind of take over, and they don't really feel, you know, they feel like they're just more, I don't know, they're more dynamic. You know, they don't feel like damage sponges. In terms of the boss fight, I will say that Crosshairs wasn't really that intuitive to me. I felt like there could have been more done to make him a unique character. It's like every character, you know, some more fitting, but all of them felt like, you know, just brutes. Like Taskmaster. Taskmaster shouldn't feel like a brute. He should feel more like an agile character that can do all, you know. But in this rendition, he's just more of like a tank type character. He has the same kind of like approach that Abomination and even Maestro Hulk have, where, you know, he jumps in and he does this big ground pound that attacks multiple enemies, which is understandable since you are facing the Avengers team. You know, he's facing 4 characters, so he wants to have those moves in his arsenal. But when you hit the Taskmaster, you know, he doesn't flinch. He just kind of stands there and takes it. But yeah, it's like it seems like they're still struggling with that. Now, hopefully they do kind of develop a little more versatility in terms of the way their bosses fight. But I feel like the mission where he's introduced is good. I just wish we could have saw more of him. He's obviously used at the end of the DLC expansion when you face Ulysses Claw in his sonic sound form, which I think was a pretty good boss battle too. You know, I think the only thing I can say about these new enemy types is that the Sonic Disruptor is going to be one of those things that people aren't going to be too keen on, because I wasn't too keen on. It kind of brought back flashbacks when the game was kind of having a bad issue in terms of its motion blur, because it can be a little disorientating when you're dealing with that stuff. And I think that's what they were going for when they did the whole Sonic Disruptor effect. I just wish that they could have kind of turned it down, because like some of the missions, they kind of feel like they're bogged down with that element. And sometimes it's kind of unfairly, you know, implemented, because you can't really just evade everything that you can't see. You're getting hit from all fields, you know, especially when you're in the mine area and you having to stop those little weird robots from mining all the different vibranium. But other than that, though, I say that this one right here, it's a win, man. The Black Panther costumes, whoever they got to do those costumes, I'm not sure if they got like the same concept artist that they had for all the previous characters, but every one of his costumes are bangers, man. Like everything looks good. I know they said that they had about like, I don't know if I'm not misquoting them or not, but I think they had 40 costumes. It's not necessarily the case, because we kind of, you know, if you were to put 2 and 2 together, you knew that most of the costumes are going to just be recolors of pre-existing costumes. But the costumes that are original, they look very good. And if you do like mixing up the different colors, they look even better. I feel like that's a sign that Spider-Man, once he rolls out, he will have a cool looking costume compared to the default characters that kind of got warm receptions. Like nobody really got like a positive reception in terms of how they look. Even Hawkeye, like I'm not too fond of his bald, generic, create a character look. But T'Challa looks great, man. All of his costumes look great. Like the gameplay is good. The level designs didn't really feel repetitive. Everything just feels like something that's like a major fresh, you know, just a fresh breath of air, man. It's like a facelift. Even the interface, which I think it's going to be a work in progress for me, because I'm so used to how things worked on the other interface pertaining to the gear and the way you access costumes. It's gonna take a while for me to get used to that because even the buttons have changed in the way you get to certain things. But I am glad that they are actually giving you the chance to go into your inventory anytime you want, as opposed to just doing it inside the airship, or I think where you're at the war table. I'm pretty sure it's just at the airship, but you can go into your inventory locker and pick any kind of items you want and interchange them. So that's a plus. The only thing that didn't really change is the I'll have to say it, I think the gear loadouts, like the way gear and perks work, they haven't changed. Obviously, they've added some new perks such as the vibranium, which I'm not really sure what the effects are. I haven't really gotten a chance to just see how everything plays full out since I had to do other things. You know, I'm a busy man. You know what I'm saying? I got to do what I got to do. But yeah, it's like, I feel like the gear, you know, if you're just one of those people who are all about the different buffs and attributes and stuff of that nature, and you've been having a problem with how things have been nerfed as of late, you're not going to really be excited about all the stuff that they've added, you know, in terms of that, because it kind of still feels the same. But, you know, like some of the artifacts, you know, the rare artifacts, like this one, what was it, the Komoyo beads. The Komoyo beads, it basically gives you like certain stats, and it also gives you a summoning, which I'm thinking that's going to be the thing in the future, where you just get summoning characters like you did with Hank Pym, with the Pym particle thing, or whatever that thing was. You're going to get the same thing down the line, you know, like support characters are going to appear. But yeah, I don't know. It's like I don't have much else to say about it. It's like everything felt good. The platforming was good. T'Challa feels great. I didn't run into any bugs. Like I know a lot of people said that they were having issues with some of the other characters, like Thor's cape was going all over the place and stuff like that. I haven't had any issues with T'Challa or the War for Wakanda expansion DLC. Everything looked good. Obviously, I think the only thing that I suffered from was just having a lot of last gen console issues, which meant like loader, like I don't know, it's like slower texture build up times, like with the characters, you know, you can kind of see the raw colors and stuff on their outfits. That was one thing that I had to deal with. And I was thinking that maybe that I was gonna have to deal with like slower load times, you know, like because you have to wait for stuff to load up on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox. What was that? Xbox One. But there are not that many load times in this game, or this DLC expansion, which is a huge plus for me. I think that I've ran into two or three load times, and that's only when I lost and I had to restart. You're definitely going to get a lot out of this, and if this is what they have in store for certain characters down the line, where they just do these huge rollouts, I am really looking forward to this shit. Like this is really good, man. The only thing I have to say is they need to kind of do the same kind of promotions and stuff that they did for this particular DLC. They need to do that with Spider-Man, because I hear he's coming out this year. They are for sure putting him out this year. The only gripe that you're going to have is those people who don't own the PlayStation 4 and 5. That's obviously going to be a thing, because this move is anti-consumerism at its finest. I'm pretty sure Sony opted to do this to get more people to buy their consoles, you know, before the whole, you know, this big outcry of people that just came in swarming because they want Spider-Man. You know, it's like he's not owned by Sony. You know, I'm pretty sure Sony had to put some money up to get this deal to go through, because you can play with Spider-Man on other games nowadays, other Marvel-related games. But it's just kind of weird, you know. And I'm still kind of, you know, placing in my bets that this is nothing more than a timed exclusive deal, and we will eventually get Spider-Man on other platforms, because I don't know, to have a story just ostracized away from the people who don't have this particular console or platform, it's weird, because it kind of makes it feel a little disjointed, especially if they're going to introduce Peter Parker and it's going to play off of the things that have happened in the recent DLCs and the first part of the story. It's just going to feel weird, you know, just to have all those assets and stuff like that and have a character just be exclusive to one particular platform. So I'm placing my bets that that is nothing more than a placeholder, or, you know, a timed exclusive, because Sony, they are kind of becoming more open to the idea of putting their exclusives on other platforms, mainly the PC. So hopefully other people do get a chance to play with Spider-Man instead of just viewing outside of the window who's somebody, you know, that owns a PlayStation 4 and 5. But anyways, guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope you guys are having a blast with the War for Wakanda expansion. It has been a blast over here. I am currently at, I think I'm at level 70, if I'm not mistaken, because I haven't really been trying to just beef up T'Challa. I've just been testing out all the different things that he has and actually seeing how some of those things work for the other characters like Cap, who I think is still a little broken. His shield still doesn't work right sometimes, and he kind of can get stuck in a certain animation when you kick the shield and it doesn't want to go back. So there's still work to be done, but I feel like Crystal Dynamics is slowly but surely gaining their momentum and just kind of, you know, catching their groove. They obviously have the foundation laid out and they know what works and what doesn't work. So all they need to do now is just stay consistent. And hopefully this variant, you know, this new variant virus doesn't cause them to kind of slow down like the first wave did, because I feel like that played a major part in the development of Marvel's Avengers. You know, people just having to work remotely from home and working in tandem with each other the best they can, as opposed to just working in the same office spaces. I feel like that has really, you know, kind of had a negative effect on the game overall. But yeah, guys, leave your comments down below and let me know what you think about the War for Wakanda expansion. Sorry about that. And you know, hopefully down the line I can bring you guys more content like this in this format. But once again, this is your boy RBG signing out on another video. I asked you like or dislike the video. It doesn't have to be a thumbs up. It can be a thumbs down. Any feedback's good feedback and will help me improve on the content. And if you really enjoyed this video, it would have helped me out greatly if you would share it with all your friends and followers on different social media. Sharing really makes a difference. But I'll catch you guys later. Peace.